Hello and welcome to Talk Spooky to Me, the Ghost Story Guys mail show. I'm Brennan Storr.
I'm Paul Bestall.
And this is our opportunity to hear from you, our audience. Paul, my friend, how are you doing?
I'm doing very well. Things are interesting, but we're okay.
I was going to say, yeah, things are totally normal in England. Nothing bad is happening whatsoever.
It's all fine.
Yes. And for those of you who don't know, there are dipshits rioting in several cities.
Nazis.
Nazis. Yeah, they're Nazis. Yes, absolutely. And it is wonderful to see everyday citizens rising up and telling them to go fuck themselves.
Absolutely. Sheffield is a sanctuary city, and we will not be cowed by fear.
Fucking A. And spare me the emails about this not being a political show. It is not a political show, but sometimes you can't get away from these things.
Yep, I'm not a political person, but if you turn up in my streets trying to frighten people, I'll tell you where to go. And we did. And I had some lovely samosas that were given to me by a very nice gentleman called Imi.
That's a beautiful thing, man.
Yeah, facing down Nazis makes you hungry, man.
I admire the shit out of that, too. I admire the shit out of that. Every
time. Always. Done it before and I'll do it again. I'm just not quick enough to chase after people anymore.
I also had to deal with my own, the limitations of my own body recently, although for much less cool reasons. I helped some friends move over the weekend. And yeah, I'm still feeling it, if I'm honest. Because I have two settings, right? I have go until I can't anymore and rest. And so I helped my friends move. Of course, it's go until I can't anymore. And I think we moved most of a one-bedroom apartment across town in about 2 hours.
Wow.
Which was, yeah, it was a whole thing. And yeah, again, I felt it afterwards because also I forget that, I can't sweat in, 35-degree heat and just rehydrate with a Slurpee anymore. My body needs more than that.
Rum.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I missed out on. I missed out on the rum. So anyways, yeah, I was feeling it for a couple days, but it's not chasing off fascists, but it'll have to do till the party gets here. All right. Well, we promise that's the last of the political talk for the time being. We are, of course, here to answer your messages, your emails, your Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Spotify comments, all those good things. And so let's get to it.
Our courteous and efficient staff is on call 24 hours a day to serve all your supernatural elimination needs.
We're ready to believe you.
All right. So first up, we have a message from Tracy. Tracy says, "Hello, lovely boys. It was nice to hear stories from Australia. Some facts. Population, 27.6 million. Nullarbor." And she spells that out. So I think I said Nullarbor. She said, no, it's Nullarbor.
Nullarbor.
Nullarbor. There we go. Jeez, I can't even read a fucking explanation right in front of me. Nullarbor. Okay, Nullarbor. There we go. So thank you, Tracy. Tracy goes on to say, "Sadly, Australia is a very arid country, much like much of Africa. This is why most of us live on the coast. Even on the coast, we experience drought and are subjected to water restrictions where we are only allowed to water our garden by hand, sprinklers, at set times of day, and wash only our cars on the lawn, not in the driveway. I love your show. Having originally hailed from Castleford, I feel very at home with Paul's accent, even though someone once said you do the worst fake English accent. That made me laugh." Take care, guys. Tracy.
Yes, Castleford, a place I've gone through many times. It's very strange because the train from Sheffield to Leeds goes through Castleford, but Castleford's a bit strange. So you go into the station and then the train reverses out of the station. So you go, depending on which way you've gone into Castleford, you will be going the opposite way coming out of it.
Yet another quirk of the English rail system.
It's West Yorkshire.
Oh, there we go. I still have not been there, Paul. I got to fix this. Maybe next summer, if your paranormal conference happens, I can get over there for that.
Yes, I shall be. There's a parameet in Pontefract later this year, in October, I think. So yeah, going to go over there. So yeah, Pontefract, the rhubarb triangle.
Is this a metaphor of some kind I'm missing, or is this like an actual rhubarb thing?
It's where most of the British rhubarb's grown, inside the magic rhubarb triangle.
Oh, that's amazing. I want to go live there like a panda, just chewing on that shit.
Sweets as well, Pontefract, home of the Pontefract cake, which is a flat, squishy licorice disc.
Okay.
You've also got the infamous, terrifyingly haunted house at 30 East Drive.
Of course, yeah. All right.
And a racecourse.
Well, if you're going to the Parameet in Pontefract this fall, keep an eye out. Maybe you'll see Paul there.
Yes, definitely be there.
Oh, perfect. Okay, there we go. Well, again, if you're going, let us know if you want to. If you're planning to go to the Parameet in Pontefract, you want to say hi to Paul, let us know, and we'll connect you, and we'll see if we can figure something out. I realize now I didn't even ask. I'm just pimping you out.
I do tricks for Costa Coffee. Fetch me a cappuccino, and we're all happy.
There we go.
Next up, Laurie writes, "Hi guys, hope all is well. I heard you read a comment the other night about someone who had waking dreams, and they also described a family member who experienced their family coming into their room, even though that hadn't happened. I've written about a couple of experiences to you, but since then I've been diagnosed with schizoaffective disorder, which means I have a combination of bipolar disorder and schizophrenia. I've had my suspicions, but I'm not sure how I feel about it. It does explain the types of experiences that I've had that don't really fit the paranormal type. I do believe I've had some of these, but in looking back, I think my disorder is responsible for the majority of them. Lately, even on medication, I've had terrifying nighttime waking hallucinations. I'm telling you all of this because you've both been so open about being supportive of mental illness struggles. Also, because I'm certain a few of my experiences are not paranormal in nature, but still feel very much so. I don't care if you use my name or share this. I appreciate you both, and a big red heart. Thank you, Laurie."
Yes, thank you, Laurie. And again, good on you for seeking treatment, and I wish you all the best as you continue to manage your illness.
Yep, absolutely. That's a very intriguing combination, like you say, Laurie, and probably does explain some experiences, but probably doesn't explain all of them.
Yeah, and honestly, man, I really think this is something we as a community have to be continually open to. We can't be afraid of that, because I think there is a little bit of the fear among people who do what we do and people who do this kind of research that, well, if we open the door to that, then that's going to kind of explain everything we do. And so therefore, like, we're going to kind of obviate the need for paranormal investigation because it's all just mental illness. I think there's like a part of us that's like deep down afraid of that. But I think we have to welcome diagnosis and treatment because, like Laurie says, it's not everything, but there is a very real possibility that some of the things people are experiencing, it is something that could be an unmedicated illness of some kind. Again, I don't think that's everything. I've had my own experiences. I am aware of all my unmedicated illnesses. It's not those, but yeah, I just think it's something we have to be open to. Thank you so much for sharing that with us, and
thank you.
Thank you for taking care of yourself as well, because that's really important.
100%.
Next up, we have a message from Nicola. Nicola says, "Hi guys, I love your show. I was looking for a podcast with long episodes and love the spooky and strange, and have been catching on episodes for a while now. I just listened to your most recent episode with a story from Western Australia and thought I would send you one of my own. I'm originally from Scotland, but moved to Perth 20 years ago. We bought a house an hour from the city on 25 acres, which backs onto a massive national park. There are no streetlights, very few neighbors, and it is so beautifully quiet. I was watching TV late one night with my husband. It was around 2010 when we both saw the garden light up in a bright blue light. We went outside expecting a helicopter searchlight, but there was complete silence. Not the usual crickets and night noises, which is normal in the bush, and not a breath of wind. It was a strange, deafening silence. The light seemed to be coming from all around, not from one place. There was no helicopter or plane in the sky, just this strange blue light, and we could see everything around us. It lasted 2 minutes or so and then just disappeared. We have never been able to explain it, as it was so widespread and intense, it couldn't have been a spotlight or laser pointer. We have looked at tube lighting, but it lasted long enough for us to get up and go outside to look around. I have some paranormal experiences from my childhood and from a few years spent in Borneo in a very creepy house, which I will send another time. Keep doing the pod and Paul's Mysteries and Monsters. You are a great company for someone who works alone. Kindest regards, Nicola." Well, thank you, Nicola. That is fascinating. Have you heard of something like that, Paul?
Yeah, it's an intriguing phenomena, very much so. And I think I've heard of it happening. There was an incident here in the Peak District a few years ago where someone was followed along a road to the farm that they owned, and their car broke down, and it wouldn't start. So she ran in to get the husband. I think she got the kids in the car. She ran in to get her husband. He came out, started the car straight away. He was like, ooh, women, ooh. And then all of a sudden the whole valley just lit up like it was the middle of the day for about 20 seconds. And then it went again. And it happened fairly regularly. And they're not sure what it caused it. It's about 30 years ago. I believe Strange But True, the hit 1990s British paranormal show, featured it. But yeah, it's out that way, Peak District. So I have heard of it fairly locally to where I am, and I would imagine there's been other incidents around the world. I mean, that's the strangeness that we love, along with why do so many Brits move to Perth? But that's that.
But funny enough, actually, Nick has a friend who moved. I don't know if it was Perth, but they went roughly about the time Nick came out to Canada. This gal was going out to Australia with her and her kids, and I got to say, man, I major props to Nicola and all you guys, because that is something I've never done. Like, obviously I've moved across the country. I'm living now. I have two friends here, and a handful of people I kind of know, but like no one close. But still, it's still my country. I can't. Just the challenge of moving to a totally foreign place seems really daunting, and I have nothing but admiration for someone who does it.
Yeah, it's where most I think most Brits who emigrate to Australia live in Western Australia.
Interesting. I wonder why that is.
It's 5 hours nearer on plane.
Oh, there we go.
It's a 16-hour flight from Perth. It's 21 hours from Sydney.
Holy shit. Well, yeah, that would be enough to convince me too.
Yeah. So, I think because Australia, I think there's over 1 million Brits live in Australia these days, which is about the same it's been for about 20, 30 years.
I mean, I suppose the weather is a major improvement.
Yeah. That's the main thing. You've got like 300 sunny days. You've got then obviously 30 days of the worst flooding imaginable you could possibly bushfires and stuff. But I love Australia. It's one of those places, like when you get out to the outback. I've been watching a program over here this week, a nice little Australian travelogue with Miriam Margolyes, travelling around and going to some interesting places out there in Australia. So, and obviously I've got to know several people, and a few of my old friends have emigrated out there. So one of my dearest friends moved to Australia and sadly passed away a few years ago. So I've got a lot of time for Oz.
On the subject of picking up stakes and going somewhere new, I actually had an opportunity to speak to a listener who had done just that. And I won't say anything else because it was meant to be a private conversation, but I just want to say to the person who was listening and to that person, again, best of luck to you. You got this. Don't worry about it.
Next, Lee writes, lads, just a quick comment. Have you ever noticed just how many reports of paranormal experiences or ghost sightings take place in the corner of a room? It's very striking. I've noticed literally thousands of such experiences reported as happening in the corner of a room. Why? Have you any theories? I can't imagine why it should be so. Guys, I love the podcast. It is fascinating and also has me rolling around laughing at times. You bounce off each other perfectly. Take care, fellas.
Well, thank you very much, Lee. I enjoy doing the show with him, and he cannot leave because of the curse I've placed on him. So it's a good arrangement.
I've got some iron coming soon.
Damn it. I sent Amazon that picture of you saying, do not sell iron to this man. He is under a fairy curse. But
Amazon are my friend now. I've just bought Kolchak today.
There we go. I don't, obviously no one knows. I think there is an element of, just like with the stairs, I think there's an element of geometry to it. I don't know how, I don't know why. Like, I wonder if these things move on currents and these currents can get bound up in physical locations sometimes. And if like maybe whatever it is that allows these things to manifest pools and corners because it doesn't flow the same way. I don't know. I mean, I think that's as likely as anything. Do you have any theories?
I think it's certainly something to do with the connection, because you've got 4 points of contact there, haven't you? You've got floor, ceiling, and both sides coming together. So I think
of course, yeah.
I think something that may point in the right direction. But as you say about stairs and things, it's just one of those things, really. It'd be interesting to have a look and see how many sightings we get from circular buildings or buildings without particular corners.
I'm just imagining a haunted cyclotron, one of those things at the fairgrounds that are just a giant circle. They turn you around.
Yes, yeah, they're great fun unless you fall off one.
I feel like that's a great way to die. I assume you've done this?
I didn't mean to do it. It just happened.
You fell off the wall of the cyclotron?
As it was slowing down, we all slid and everybody went flying. Because it's velocity that keeps you up there, doesn't it? As you fly around. And so it was slowing down, but it didn't slow down quite slowly enough. So it was very boom. And we all went, ugh.
Oh, God.
It was a strange day. The black hole broke down while we were on that. Somebody had a heart attack and died on the pirate ship. It was a long day.
Well, not for everyone.
It's that long ago. I got in as a child, but I wasn't.
You just knee walking around like Dorf.
No, I just meant sure I had a shave and got rid of all my bum fluff. I think it was 18, something like that, 17, 18. I got in for a 14-year-old. That was all right.
Man, I haven't been on a carnival ride in so long, and shit like that is one of the reasons why. You just never know.
Yeah, I've only fallen off a couple of rides, so, it is what it is.
What other ones have you fallen off of?
I fell off the Grand National at Blackpool, Pleasure Beach, because that basically is a death trap.
I don't know what that is, but I'm going to look it up right. It sounds like a mumblecore band, but I'm sure it's not.
You sit on a wooden horse and go over a very sort of high-speed roller coaster hanging on for dear life. It's obviously a lot safer these days. Just kind of slipped and cracked my ankle on the rail. Hung on, I didn't fall off like to me death.
So I'm looking at the Wikipedia article, and it actually has like a separate thing for incidents. That is not a good sign. On May 20th, 2004, an electrical fault in the lighting system of the roof of the station caused a fire, which destroyed the station and parts of 2 adjacent rides, as well as trains of the ride. Firefighters used water from the nearby ride Valhalla to put out the flames. The station was rebuilt and new trains installed, and the ride reopened in October of that year after repairs were completed. In 2014, 58-year-old Robert Sycamore broke his neck whilst riding. He had an underlying back condition. On June 1st, 2021, staff had to escort about 30 passengers down the track when Grand National broke down while approaching its peak height. And then, March 31st this year, staff had to escort passengers down the track as Grand National broke down just under its peak height. An essential part didn't attach to the chain of the track. So things are going well at the Grand National.
Yes.
Man, the fact that you are still living on this earth is a testament, A, to your great fortune, and B, your absolute unkillability.
Yes, and it's one of those things. It's like when people describe The Omen as a cursed film and Gregory Peck says, well, I survived a plane that was struck by lightning. I'd say it's a lucky film, not an unlucky film. And I always view it like that. If you can get out of a serious incident with minor scrapes, then you've been lucky, not unlucky, I think.
If music licensing wasn't a horrible nightmare, this is when Emerson, Lake and Palmer would just fade up as we head into the ad break.
If you can walk away from an 80-mile-an-hour car crash without a scratch, then you've always been a lucky bastard, and I have been.
Well, Lee, I hope that some of that theorizing gave you some places to start at the very least. Again, I think there's some possibilities. It's always hard to say what, but I think there is, as Paul says, an element of the angles of it, the geometry, the fact you've got 4 points of contact, maybe something to do with corners trapping strange currents. Again, if you have any theories, send them in. ghoststoryguides@gmail.com. We'll read them out on the next show.
Yeah, ghosts might be like Roombas and just get stuck.
I looked at getting a Roomba here because I have a lot of wood, like laminate flooring, and then I thought, you lazy motherfucker, just get a broom.
No Roombas here.
No, we don't want to give the robots too much of a foothold for when they rise up.
I'm one of those people that always says please to Alexa, so I'm not having any more robots in my house.
Smart.
I've seen T2.
All right, well, we are going to placate the technological monster by throwing to some ads in the vain hope that we will be spared when the revolution comes. We will be right back. All right, next up is our patron Joel. Joel says, "Hi guys, I hope you are both well. Just a quick email on the subject of music. I've been listening to some of the Rainy Days for Ghosts stuff and was wondering if you were familiar with the band Ozric Tentacles." I used to listen, that sounds like Paul might be. I used to listen to their stuff a lot back in the mid-90s and remember attending possibly the most mind-melting gig at the Students' Union Bar in Cardiff. I recall that the lead guitarist was fashioning some kind of TV aerial setup on his head, and a lot of the audience were on shrooms. It seems like they are still releasing material, and I can recommend the 2016 album Lotus Unfolding as an intro. Best wishes as always, Joel. So Paul, you know Osric Tentacles?
I've seen them twice by accident.
By accident?
Yeah, well, not by accident. I was working at the lead mill when they played.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're a cult band. They're a strange mix, really. They're kind of like a psychedelic surf rock, ambient trip hop, dub, dance music, spirituality, hosh posh of musical genres, and best listened to in relaxing states, shall I say.
Okay.
But they've been going 40 years from Somerset.
Oh, no kidding.
And are often credited with making Glastonbury cool again in the 80s. They're a very well known. They're still touring. I think they're touring at the minute with another legendary psychedelic band called Gong.
Okay.
And I've seen Gong twice as well. They're as mad as a box of frogs, but fair play to them. If you can create that, and people clearly love them dearly, because like I said, I think they've sold over 1 million records despite never being signed to a major label.
I mean, no small thing, especially if you're that weird.
Yeah, I think the lead guy is called Ed Wynn. He's the only one left, probably because everybody else has been taken off back to space.
It's a Captain Beefheart situation.
No, they're better than that.
Oh, okay.
Never a fan of Captain Beefheart, I have to say.
They've got one album called the Legendary A&M Sessions that I really like. The rest of the stuff I can kind of take or leave, but A&M Sessions is songs like Here I Am, I Always Am, and Moonchild. That album is pretty solid.
An Osric Tentacle gig, it's the kind of gig you'd get high on fumes.
It's a contact high kind of place.
Yeah, I would imagine. You could probably say they're the West Country version of the Grateful Dead without lyrics.
Oh, okay, so it's just all instrumental.
Most of their stuff's instrumental.
Oh, interesting.
But yeah, I think the last album came out last year.
Oh, shit. Okay, well, good. Say, fair play to Osric Tentacles. Somerset's
finest.
There we go. Well, thank you, Joel. I'll have to check them out. And thanks for listening to Rainy Days. Obviously, they're, Harper's stuff is part of our label, and we're very proud of the work she does.
Yeah, as soon as you said the word Osric Tentacles, the corners of my mouth curled into a smile. You're one of them many bands that I've seen, and you know, it's one of the joys of working in a venue. You get to see amazing bands or bands that you just wouldn't pay money to see. And you get very surprised sometimes, like when I saw Carter the Unstoppable Sex Machine. They were one of the biggest sort of, very similar to Osric Tentacles. They were a cult band that crossed over in the late 80s, early 90s, and they were massive. Very satirical, political lyrics, like Bloodsport for All, Do Re Mi. Sheriff Fatman famously attacked Philip Schofield on the Smash Hits Poll Winners Party live on the telly, which, looking back, well done then. But they were kind of like 3 or 4 years after their peak. And I just thought, I quite like some of their early stuff. They were absolutely brilliant live. Just 80 minutes, full on, balls out, let's rock and roll in a slightly strange way. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. The roof was dripping sweat by the end of the gig. Brilliant.
Oh, cool.
And it made me realise that they'd always been really good, and I needed to stop being such a music knobhead.
We all have to have the realization at some point.
Embrace what you love and bugger everybody else. Our next missive is from Julia, who writes, "Hey guys, I'm a patron. Gratefully, those ads are the worst, and I've been listening for about 2 years. I think I found you after my partner and I, found out about Brett Manning being so close to us and stopped by her shop right as she was opening the lantern. And I think maybe we found you in the credits in her book. We're near Cincinnati, so we made a point to stop by on a trip to Chicago and meet her and Frank. Good memories." Oh, cool. "I just want to let you both know I listen to you when I work in my art studio at night, and you're one of the 2 podcasts I look forward to every week and get loads of comfort from. I work for myself, and I work from home, so I'm alone a lot. It's nice to have some company, even if it's recorded. My partner recently had a heart attack out of nowhere at the end of June. Oof. It wasn't his heart, but his nervous system. Surprise. Although we still don't know what actually happened or how to prevent another event. And so we're navigating that medical business and his recovery. It's not going very well, sadly, but we'll get there. He's struggling with pneumonia now after the intubation did a number on his lungs, and he's still in pain from the CPR. But now more than ever, your talks bring me so much comfort, grounding and nourishment during these challenging times when I'm doing a lot of caregiving, which I do find fulfilling, and every day pivoting. Very like 2020, but in our own personal bubble. Just thanks for carrying on in these insane times. We've our own personal thing going on, but the greater world, especially being in America right now, and we're seriously looking to live in Canada or Portugal. 2 good choices. It's just too much. You do so much for many of us because you do what you love. I've also seen a lot of people in the social media and podcast realm having some big shifts, partners splitting and people going different directions. All in right alignment for them, I'm sure. But hey, it's a lot of change. So it truly is grounding that you are continuing to do what you do so well. P.S. Like so many people, I just want to echo the sentiment around the mental health care that you talk about consistently. Highly responsible for the topics you bring up. It's such a fine line for those of us who are sensitive, who may have encounters with the paranormal, and or are just extra normal ourselves, for sure, me included. Thank you, Julia and the Flying Cats. And PPS, if you want to find me online, my site is http juliacatmartin.square.site.
Julia, thank you so much. Again, it's an honor to be part of your life and to be able to provide some comfort as you're dealing with shit. That sounds, yeah. I mean, it seems reductive to say it's challenging because it seems like a whole lot more than that. But still, all right, my hat's off to you for doing that.
Heart attacks are strange things. My mum went to hospital a couple of years ago, and she went for a checkup on her arm, and they did a cardiogram and everything. And they said, "Oh, so when did you have your heart attack?" She said, "I've never had a heart attack." I said, "Yes, you have." And she'd had what's called a silent heart attack.
Oh my God.
Where it basically causes all the, you can see all the tissue scarring around your heart, but it isn't big enough to kill you, and it's not a stroke, but it's known as a silent heart attack.
Oh, wow.
And she'd no idea she'd had it. She just got a pain in her shoulder, and that was that.
Unbelievable. Jeez, well, thank God she's okay. Holy shit. I mean, not surprised. This seems to be, I'm starting to see where the Bestall fortitude comes from.
Well, you know, I think that since she gave birth to me, we were both supposed to be dead. So I suppose it comes from that.
Grim Reaper just keeps trying, and he's like, get off.
Yeah. That's why the doctor cut my head open, getting me out. And I've never looked back. Still got the scar.
Really?
Yeah, scalpel. That's how they knew I was still alive. They cut me out because I thought I was dead.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I was supposed to be dead. And then they cut me and I started crying and they thought, oh, he's not dead.
And then I said, I ain't got time to bleed.
What's going on here?
But yeah, Julia, Julia's site is juliacatmartin.square.site. Go and check out her art. We're honored that you enjoy listening to the show, and I hope your husband starts to feel better. I know some folks I know through other people were dealing with a similar situation, and it was for him it was more arthritic, but just out of nowhere suddenly his knees swelled up like pumpkins, and he couldn't move, couldn't walk, and it was just a goddamn nightmare. And I know his partner, she had to do a lot of taking care of him. Much more than she ordinarily would have, and it was very, very draining on her. So make sure to take care of yourself, Julia, too. Again, you didn't ask for advice, and I guess I'm not really giving it, but I will say that. Just make sure you take care of yourself, too. Don't you have to be able to have something to draw from, and that means nourishing you first.
Yes. Me and the creature from the Black Lagoon concur.
It's on his shirt, folks. If you were watching this on video, you would see.
Still one of the greatest films in the 1950s.
Agreed. They keep trying to remake the fucking thing. I don't know why, but apparently James Wan's up next.
You shouldn't touch perfection. It's brilliant. It even looks amazing. I've got it on Blu-ray. I've got the whole Universal Monsters box set on Blu-ray, and it looks phenomenal for a film that's 70 years old. It's incredible.
Well, I figure those ones, like unlike the Golden Harvest and the other Chinese movies you and I were talking about earlier, people actually took care of the negatives. And so I think they were able to do really pristine transfers because the original elements had been well preserved. Whereas, as I say, Paul and I off air were talking about older Chinese films and how that some of those companies did not work very hard to preserve the elements. So they're very difficult to restore.
And I would imagine they're very fortunate not to have been involved in a couple of film lots burning down in the 80s. There's
that too, yeah.
But, I mean, they all look, the restoration that's done on the old Universal films looks just, that Creature from the Black Lagoon and The Invisible Man look incredible.
Oh, that's cool. I'm a sucker for a good restoration, man. Like I was telling you, I bought the Vinegar Syndrome, had their sale in May, and I bought China O'Brien 1 and 2 in a box set. Cynthia Rothrock's American debut. And yeah, they're not great movies, but they're fun. And boy, they look great.
Hey, I'm laughing. I love Ford Fairlane. What do I know about anything?
One other thing Julia mentioned I want to touch on before we go to our last email here. Yeah, I mean, it is interesting. You know, there's a lot of change happening sort of personally. Some folks you and I both know in our personal lives are going through, you know, pretty substantial life changes. And it just seems to be a season of change, which is, you know, kind of fascinating. And yeah, I mean, as the election draws ever closer in the US over the next few months, I think it's going to ramp up. So, you know, strap in, guys. And
what election?
Oh, yeah.
We've just had one. What are you on about?
I am 2 hours from their border. I wish I could be so relaxed. Yeah, anyways, as this shit draws closer, it's going to get weirder and weirder. It's funny, actually. Paul and I were joking again off air about we had someone put a pretty aggrieved comment, politically motivated comment on one of our episodes, literally an episode that's 8 fucking years old. And I mean, if you're still bent out of shape about something I said 8 years ago, I don't know what to do for you anymore, my guy.
Nobody knew who the fuck I was 8 years ago.
That's it.
Fuck off.
Yeah, I was eating Chinese food in my office, I think.
I was going through a 10-year mental breakdown. Fuck off.
Yeah.
Dickhead.
That's essentially what I said in the comment back. I don't usually comment back on shit like that, but I felt like that one deserved something. But Julia, you're great. All our listeners are great. This guy was a dipshit. Yes. But no, we love all our listeners. And Julia, thank you again. And yeah, best of luck to you.
Absolutely.
All right.
That comment that always reminds me of one of my favourite memes, which is that old person just going, "You there, fuck off, and keep fucking off. Or when you get to where you get to, carry on fucking off."
Yeah. And our last email for this episode comes from Jude.
Oh, Jude. The last message.
Fear not, we still have to do next week and next week and anon until the heat death of the universe.
I've been watching a lot of programs about natural disasters this week, and it frightened me. I saw footage of something I never thought I'd see.
What's that?
It was from an earthquake. Not an earthquake, it was from a volcanic eruption in Indonesia. And somebody filmed themselves outrunning a pyroclastic flow, which I never thought I'd ever see. Unfortunately, you also see all the other people that weren't in a car who did not outrun the pyroclastic flow.
I don't know that I would want to see that.
You don't see much. You just see people running, and then they're not there anymore because the clouds passed them.
Oh, no, hard pass on that.
Yes, it was a strange series. It's called Earth Shock on Netflix, and I've completely missed this series. It came out 2 years ago, and I love things like that, but it also terrified me a great deal. And I did not know that there had been an horrific... I don't know how I've lost this from my memory. There was a horrific tornado in Alabama in 2021.
Oh, okay.
In December. I was like, what? When did this happen? And one of them where they interviewed somebody who'd got picked up with her kids in a bed, thrown through the air, landed in the road, and they all survived.
Oh, wow. No, I don't remember that either, but I spent most of 2021 falling apart, so my memory of that time is very, very spotty. All right, and our last message is from Jude. Jude says, I've been listening to the show for a few years now, and I'm currently working through the back catalog for what is probably an embarrassing number of times. Hey, I'm currently going through chemo for leukemia. Let a bitch have her comfort lessons. Far be it for me to stop you, Jude. Jude goes on to say, as the daughter of a nurse, I have a soft spot for the haunted healthcare episode, and I wonder if you've ever considered doing a follow-up. I tried to ask my mother for any possible stories, and she hit me with a withering nurse stare and said that C. diff outbreaks are the scariest thing she has to deal with. So unfortunately, I don't have anything to contribute. On another note, I just wanted to say I appreciate the empathy and humor you two bring to the stories. You truly have created one of the best paranormal podcasts out there. There's a reason Ghost Story Guys is a comfort listen for me. I hope you both have a great day. St. Jude of the liminal space.
Ah, another good saint.
Yes, possibly the best saint. Jude, thank you so much. Keep fighting the good fight.
Yes. When my best friend's mum was being treated for leukemia in hospital, she ended up on a ward with Vera Duckworth from Coronation Street, and they became firm friends.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, they were in bed next to each other, obviously separate beds, and they were both being treated at the same time.
Wow. I guess you never know where life's going to take you.
No. And she made a full recovery.
Fucking A. Well, Jude, again, you got us in your corner. Thank you so much for listening. Again, I'm happy we can provide a measure of comfort. Paul, I think that's probably the greatest compliment people can give us is just that when they're in a bad place, listening to us can help alleviate some of that. That's just, I don't know that there's any better compliment.
It's humbling and deeply satisfying to have comments such as that.
And on an amusing note, the C. diff thing, I have a friend who's a paramedic, and she has also described the horrors of dealing with C. diff to me. She told me once she had a patient, I will keep this light on details because it's gross, but the patient had an incident in the back of the ambulance, and she said you could tell immediately it was C. diff, and she said it still haunts her dreams, we'll say. Oh yeah, I guess, yeah, if you don't know, C. diff is a illness that has to do with pooping.
Explosive diarrhea.
Yeah, it's gross. It's real gross.
See, I was thinking, what are they talking about? Jude mentions it. You mention it like it's like water off a duck's back. I'm like, what are you on about?
Yeah, I forget. Again, I don't know a lot about this shit, but because my friend's a paramedic, I've heard a lot from her, so I've just kind of internalized it. But yeah, it's real gross is the short version. And as for a haunted healthcare episode, we would love to do another one. So if anyone out there, you have stories from the medical industry, shoot us a message, ghoststoryguys@gmail.com. All right, my friend, that is it for this episode of Talk Spooky. We will be back next week with episode 195. And again, thanks to everyone who wrote in, sent comments, commented on things. That is what keeps us going. The feedback really, really makes a difference for us. So we appreciate every single one of you who does that. We see it all. So thank you. Where can everyone find you online, my friend?
You can find Mysteries and Monsters across all social media platforms, and me being confused by Threads, wherever you'd like to look for us. Really?
Excellent. I am largely the truth on Threads, Instagram, Blue Sky, and Letterboxd. You can find my other show, Weird Together, everywhere fine podcasts live. And soon I will be able to announce my newest podcast, of course, a collaboration with Brandon Scheck-Snyder of Southern Gothic. I think we'll probably be able to talk about that very, very soon. So looking forward to sharing that with everyone. Also terrified because then it means it starts. And then the countdown is really on for me to keep ahead of the workload. But we won't worry about that for now.
Is it really a workload if you're not scared?
Who said I'm not scared? As always, we like to end Talk Spooky with a song, and we'll actually be featuring some new artists. Over the next few months, we're in talks with a couple independent labels to be a distribution outlet for them, so we'll be featuring some artists from their roster. Again, that'll be probably over the next couple months as we get that in place. For now, though, I want to share a track that is not new, but is very close to my heart. It is part of our label, Night Harvest Recordings. And if you've listened to the show for a while, you might have heard me tell this story, but I'm going to tell you again real quick for the folks who haven't heard it. The album is called Such a Way to End It by the band Rain is Wet. Rain is Wet was an Ann Arbor-based trio who recorded this album in 2006. The band broke up before the album could be finished, and it just sort of lay dormant for 13 years. And then one of the band, Travis Roy, who's a listener to this show, and I'd like to think a friend of mine, I worked with him on his podcast for a little bit in 2019, 2018, And I heard some of the music from the album in that podcast. So I asked if it was available elsewhere. It was not. I found out why. The album was not mixed before the band broke up. So with the help of Peter from Pizzanta Music, we got the album mixed. We got it up on streaming. And it is now there for everyone to enjoy. And I very much love that it is up and out there because I really do enjoy it. It's a relatively short album. I think it's about 6 songs. But if you want to hear it, you can stream it everywhere. You get your music. And again, that's Rain is Wet. The album is called Such a Way to End It. And the track I'm going to be sharing with you tonight, my favorite from that album, is called Barcelona. Thanks so much for listening, folks. We can never tell you how much we appreciate it. We'll see you next week for episode 195. And until then, we will leave you with Rain is Wet and Barcelona.